Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Stellar Lumens, aka XLM. So with that being said, let's just dive in and let's first off start off with the current price action that we are seeing in the market. So this is one of those assets that has not really changed too much, even with the overall price action of Bitcoin. I mean, from the bottom right now to where we are at currently, we are up about roughly 27%. On the top of this candle, we are up about like 28%. So not really much has changed in terms of price action on XLM. I recently was looking at buying quite a bit of XLM. We averaged in a little bit down at around like 7.5 cents, but I haven't really looked at it too much lately. The only reason why I was buying at 7.5 cents is because this was like mainly a lot of like support that I was seeing back here during like October of 2020 and even back here in like the fall time frame of 2020. But nonetheless, at the moment that I'm recording this, we are sitting at about like roughly 9 cents. I don't think that this one has really had that major breakout event just yet. But one thing that I have been watching for, and one thing that I would love to note around XLM is where we are really getting close to, and that is that 20 weekly EMA. That is at roughly 9.5 cents. It's this green line. The reason why I'm focused on that is because if we look back on some of these patterns that we were trading at once we broke down below it, specifically going back to November of 2021, you could see that we've retested it about roughly 2 times here, about roughly 5 times. And this is on the weekly candle, mind you. So on the weekly candle, we have been trying to break out of this area for a very long time. We have been focused on it for a very long time as well, because hey, what comes after that is about roughly 13.5 cents, followed by roughly almost 18 cents. So from our current candle up to some of these EMAs, you know, we're looking at like a gain of almost like 52%, all the way up to about almost 100%. So I'm watching these levels closely. I'm waiting to see if XLM could actually have that nice breakout event. There is still a lot of resistance that we still need to address. For example, the big one is about like 11.5 cents going back to like August of 2020. But after that, I do believe that we will most likely have that nice little breakout event that we've seen back in like November of 2020 kind of repeat as well. But nonetheless, we are starting to see a lot of updates around XLM. We're starting to see a lot of insights around XLM. And we are also seeing Stellar move pretty swiftly with some of the leading names out there around finance and the global markets. For an example, I do want to start off with this tweet here from Stellar.org. And we do see big news. SDF is joining the CFTC's Global Market Advisory Committee as its only blockchain representation. We are excited to lend a crypto-native perspective as the committee advises on the challenges and opportunities of a global marketplace. Remember what I have said time and time again with XLM. Do not overlook Stellar and XLM just because you hold XRP. And also, if you hold XLM, do not overlook XRP either. I know that a lot of the major, entities around crypto that are doing reports, like U.Today, for an example, they have this reputation of calling XLM and XRP competitors of each other. But I want you all to understand that these are two specific utility tokens that I have always said to make sure that you have in your portfolio. Why? Because I think that they both are revolutionizing the way money works within the retail sector and even the B2B sector. Now, as we look at this report, we could see a few things around this. So this got posted on the 19th, and we do see a few of the major names around this, but this is focused on the discussion around appropriate regulation and appropriate regulation of digital asset markets. But this is also focused on the inclusion of digital asset markets in the GMAC's priorities, demonstrates the importance of blockchain and crypto in the future of the U.S. markets. Now, they will be one of the big 4 crypto-focused organizations, and the only one representing a blockchain to join representatives from traditional finance players such as JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and also BlackRock. With Commissioner Pam at the helm, GMAC will guide the Commission on issues that affect the integrity and competitiveness of the U.S. markets and U.S. firms engaged in global business. So yeah, this is definitely something interesting. We're starting to see a lot of discussions and movements happening around regulations. And we even do see down here that they are going to continue to participate in conversations that will inform future regulatory structures and clarity. Clear rules of the road and smart policy can help unleash our sector. And we must be in the room with policymakers and regulators to help achieve that. So very, very hopeful that this will lead to some sort of clarity around regulations. I know that we've been waiting for so long for this. And this is what they hope to accomplish. So they want to bring this perspective of layer 1 protocols and what it means to be the underlying infrastructure responsible for supporting and bringing to life so many promising applications of this technology. They will be also focused on the role of stablecoins in the digital asset markets and real-world use cases, including leveraging stablecoins in the delivery of humanitarian aid through Stellar Aid Assist. They are also excited to join the many traditional players on the committee, and this is really going to be focused on the value creation, the system that they've already created as well around like finance and how their vision requires blockchain and traditional finance to work together to ensure that the systems are interoperable to work as seamless as possible. So very, very interesting to say the least. And I honestly believe, I've always said that, you know, Stellar is doing incredible things. This got reported on everywhere. You know, mainly it was talking about like the stable coins that got reported on. But when we really kind of look at things happening around this market, I've always focused on what these companies are doing and who they're also discussing plans with. In my opinion, you know, I never really liked JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or even BlackRock, but with Stellar by all three of these, it's pretty crazy to say the least, and it would be crazy to not say that, like, hey, Stellar is probably one of the chosen ones. But we also do see over here billions of tokens of XRP rival. Again, like I said, U.Today loves saying this. I've always said that they are not rivals. But XLM was transferred while Stellar rocks at Davos. And 1.3 billion XLM changed locations as Ripple rival Stellar rocks at World Economic Forum in Davos. And this was equivalent to about $108 million, and it was transferred from Bittrex exchange to an unknown wallet. Interestingly enough, a major transaction involving XLM happened in the midst of the International Economic Forum taking place in Davos, Switzerland at the moment. So pretty interesting. And yeah, I really do think that as we really focus on, you know, this market and we focus on a lot of the major players, I've always said like XLM going forward will most likely shock the world simply because of the marketing demand that they already set aside for XLM. For those out there that don't know, 6 billion XLM is locked away in a marketing grant. This is going to support digital media, Facebook, Google Ads, display, offline marketing activities and events, PR and communication support, in-app incentives such as new customer bonuses, referrals, etc., external resources such as marketing agencies, tools, and services. And they're looking at really just growing the name, focusing on building out Stellar in general and really kind of getting the word out there. So far, this has gotten put to use. If we go look at some of the marketing reports, this goes back to Q2 of 2022. We have the Q3 one as well. We don't have anything after that. But let me look up marketing real quick. Let's go back down here. So here is the marketing support. So from the 6 billion, this is how much is left of that. It's about roughly 2 billion. When we go over to the Q3, we could see that not much has changed. I mean, it's like marginal, about 7 million shifted in marketing. So we are starting to see a lot more marketing support being put in place. In terms of all the other numbers, we are starting to see some shift here and there in terms of like developer support, but not much. But I do think that this is something very interesting. We are also seeing a lot of new products being mentioned here, enterprise funds, stuff like that. These are great in terms of the funds that are in place because, again, it shows that they are focused on long-term growth, long-term term development. And, you know, these major products that they are focused on, we've talked about a few of them in the past. past. I'm very excited for like the DeFi ones. I'm excited for, more focus on retail specifically because, again, I've always looked at XLM and Stellar as like a P2P sort of aspect. And I've always looked at like Ripple with XRP as B2B. I would love to be wrong, and I would love for these two to just kind of do their own thing because, again, it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all approach. There's not going to be, like, yeah, sure, there's competition here, but when we really kind of look at it, I don't believe that Stellar and Ripple are really competing against each other. I think that there's plenty of room at the table to eat for both of these. There's so much value. There's so much, overall potential here for crypto technology that I just don't think that one company is going to grasp it all. But, yeah, I think that when we really kind of look at the value of XLM, when we look at everything happening, I really do think that people should be watching XLM a little bit more closely than they are. You got to remember that XLM for the longest time has still kind of underperformed slightly. Even when we go back on like the 1 month span, here's a little bit. Let's go to the Coinbase chart real quick. So let's really kind of look at this. So on the 1 month chart, we have our support zone down here. It's almost like a perfect monthly support zone that we've had. In my opinion, could XLM be fully bottomed out? Most likely. But when we look at a few levels that we need to, really kind of break over, we already retested the 2017-2018 all-time high on the candle body technically. The major resistance zone is actually 54 cents, believe it or not. When we take a look at the bottom level here to that 54-cent zone, it's only about a 6.5x. From our current price action to the top here, it's only about 5x. But the thing that I've always found interesting when we look at the macro fib-based levels for XLM is that on the long-term span here, we could easily outreach, and let me go off of the regular fib-based levels, not the log scale. We could easily outreach to roughly like the $4 range. If we do see volume and value being derived and we start to see a big approach from XLM, then we could see some of these higher figures being, really targeted. This could be a 47.5x. But, just for the sake of being conservative, I really just target the 1618 first. This would be a 16x opportunity. I'm totally fine with that. Do I think that this is going to shock anybody? Not really. That's why I really kind of look at some of these higher ones like the 4618. And I always have a bag, like I'm selling at $1.50, taking my profit, but I'm always having a major bag left over for these higher targets because, again, like XLM, I don't need to sell my XLM. Like, I've been holding XLM for so long. I'm really just like buying down here again, very similar to what I seen back in 2020 when I bought, and I'm like, okay, well, we'll just kind of treat this as a trade bag. We'll kind of just treat it as like a long-term investment. It does not matter how you look at it, but in my opinion, I always have like that, specific wallet for trading and that specific wallet for just hodling. And I do have a hodl bag of XLM. I do believe that, at $4.24, $4.25, I still think that that's not that bad in terms of like market valuations, because even when you go and look at XLM going off of a fully diluted market cap, I think at like $4, it's like $200 billion worth of a market cap. And yeah, I think that could be a little bit too much in the current market cycle, but this is fully diluted. You got to remember that I think currently, I think that, I don't know if they show it here, but I think it's like roughly 25 billion. Let me go over to coin market cap. I have not looked at the circulating supply of XLM in a while. So 26.2 billion. So if we're going off of like 26.2 billion and we're actually addressing like the $4 range, then yeah, we're looking at like almost $105 billion worth of market cap. Is that achievable? Yeah, sure. It definitely is. But I would more so target the lower numbers first. Buy XLM like it's only going to $1.50. That way you're not disappointed if it doesn't go, higher. But I do think that $1.50 to like $3 is achievable. A $78.6 billion market cap at $3 is not too crazy in my opinion. So I'm definitely watching this one closely, and I do think that XLM could definitely shock the world. I definitely think that right now as we look at XLM, we are starting to see a large shift in volume. We're starting to see some big names tied directly to Stellar, but we've already known that Stellar is playing with the big boys anyways. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As it was up to you all, have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.